Hi everyone, welcome back to Yellow Cottage Soapery. Today I thought I would show you guys how I pipe the rainbow roses that I did for another one of my soaps. And I'm going to go ahead and share the recipe that I used for this piping. I will leave that in the description box below. So the first thing you're going to want to do is gather your colors, your rainbow colors. They can be different, pastel shades, neon, whatever you want. So your rainbow colors. Also some fragrance. This is a 1 pound batch. So once you get your oils and butters, everything mixed in here, then you have your lye solution, and that will also be part of the recipe in the description below. You're going to need 6 small containers. These happen to be the smallest I have right now. One for each of your colors, and you're going to need a spatula for each, and I have a larger one that I'll use to scrape my main bowl right here. You're also going to need, for piping, you're going to need 6 104 tips, the petal tips. These are made by Wilton, and you can find these on Amazon or anywhere. They're pretty inexpensive. So you're going to need 6 of those, each in separate piping bags. You're going to need, I'm using wax paper. You can use freezer paper for piping. And then you also are going to need these right here, which you go like a nail head thing. I forget the name of them, but this is what you're going to make your roses on. So after you get everything mixed up, I will go ahead and I will show you guys mixing it up and doing the colors. And then depending on what fragrance you choose, that will determine how quickly your soap sets up. So try to use a fragrance that you're familiar with, one that you know is not going to rise or, accelerate or give you a hard time where you can't pipe it. So this fragrance I'm using is Fruity Rings, and I used this last time and it was good. It took maybe half an hour for the soap to be ready to pipe. So I'm using that again, and the other thing I'm doing, a lot of people like to pre-mix their colors. I usually don't, and especially for this, I don't, because I want to stick blend each color into the soap, and that helps to set it up as well, rather than pre-mixing it in oil. So I'm going to go ahead and get this blended up, and then I'm going to separate out my colors and put them in the piping bags and wait for them to set up. So you just add your lye solution slowly down your stick blender. It just helps to eliminate any air bubbles. So I have all my colors here, and they're really pretty fluid still. Nowhere near ready to pipe. So I could leave them sitting here and wait till they're ready and put them in the piping bags, but I like to have all my mess and dishes cleaned. So what I do, if I want to put it in there when it's still fluid, it's also easier to pour in. I take my piping bag and I go right above the tip and I just twist it a few times and then stick it down in the bottom and open it up. That way you can put it in when it's more fluid, and then just have your bags sitting there ready, and you can just kind of feel them and check them. And I will show you guys kind of what the consistency should look like when it's ready to pipe, or how it should look or feel in the bag. So then I just go ahead and start adding my colors to each bag. And then I will let this set up and I'll let you guys know how long. It's going to be different, like I said, for everyone, depending on what fragrance you put in it. And how much you stick blend, the temperature at which you soap at, all of that makes a difference. So then I just kind of pull the top up, squeeze it, lay this down, and open it up. And it's fine. And I just kind of leave it like that for now, and then I'll push it all down with a skewer in a little bit. So that's a personal choice when you want to put your soaps in the bag. I just like doing it this way so that I can wash all my dishes and be ready to pipe. Okay, I'm back. It's time to pipe. It's been about 45 minutes, and I ended up putting little rubber bands around the end of each of them because it just makes it easier to grab it quick as you make the rose. So I do have them in order here of the rainbow, and I'm going to use this larger nail and just put a little bit on here, and then a piece of your wax paper or freezer paper will work as well. I'm going to go through and do, starting with red in the center for like the bud of the rose. You're going to hold your piping bag like just exactly like this. As you can see, it's like flat. This is touching. And you want the large end of your tip down, and you just hold it, and you're going to let your other hand do the work as far as twisting. You're just going to give it a light squeeze. We just keep squeezing, even pressure. Come around like that. So you got your little bud. Some people like to put some and build it up if they're going to start to make like a rose that's going to sit higher. But because I need mine to be flat for my soaps, I don't start out with a little squiggly under it. I just start right on the paper. So then where you left off, where your pink left off, like the little tail of it, you go back just a little bit. You're going to hold your piping bag exactly the same. Again, start squeezing, even pressure, and just go around a little bit and stop. And you're going to keep doing that. So with your yellow, you're going to start back a little bit further here. Your orange, kind of overlap it. And you're going to do that. Now, as you go around the rose, you're going to end up holding it, kind of tipping it back to get it to flare out a little bit. So again, I'm going to start where the yellow is, and just squeeze around and stop. And it's okay if you have that going on there because you're going to be covering it up with your next color. The other thing I do is I try to keep these in order. Otherwise I get confused and I just pick it up and put it right back down where I was. So then I'm going to take this, again, overlap the green a little bit, and I'm holding my bag kind of back a little bit so that they start to flare out. It's depending on how big you want your flower to be. So now I can kind of correct this part of the green that messed up just by doing that. Then I'm going to start over and I'll probably go around again with each of the colors. Or you could just do like this and finish it, and it's, you know, it's pretty that way, depending on what size you're going for. Again, you let the nail, your other hand, do the work. You don't have to move your piping bag. Just set it right on it. Overlap your orange. Squeeze, 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 and then stop. And again, I can correct that little piece of the pink that's out there by this next petal. Just go right over top of it. Remember, the large end of the tip is touching your nail head. So then I went through all the colors again, and I have to look and see, does that look like a rose that I would, you know, does it look good? I think I may add just a little bit of, like, one more petal of red. I think will, and this way, I'm kind of tipping my hand down to make it flare out a little bit, like the rose is opened like that. And I think I'll leave it like that. So then you just carefully take it off, and you can do one of two things. I just set it on my soap table because I'm not going to be using these today. But if you want to use these to put on your soaps today, you should put them on some kind of a plate that fits in your freezer. Put them in there for like 15 or 20 minutes. You take them out, and you'll have to work quickly because they'll start to soften again. But you're able at that point to go ahead and put them on your soap or your cupcakes or, you know, whatever you're making them for. So, let's see. I'm going to start with the red again. Actually, I'll start with green in the center. So I kind of mix it up so it doesn't look the same every time. So I'm just going to start with my green. Again, you just even pressure and let your other hand do the spinning, and it turns into a little rosebud. It does take a little bit of practice, but it's fun to practice. The consistency, I meant to tell you guys, you can see it's not too firm. It's a little squishy, but it's not fluid. It has to be like the perfect consistency, because if it's too hard, it makes it difficult to get out of the piping tip. If it's too soft, obviously, your rose won't have, I don't know why I went for that one, your rose won't have much definition. It'll, just look really runny. Okay guys, I hope that you found this tutorial helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments and I will try to answer as many as I can. Thanks so much for watching and see you next time.